Hello and welcome to
Totally booked
Totally
right
Booked Right
now.
Now. We're
It's
getting better.
it's getting better. I don't know if we'll ever totally get it, but it's getting better. It's getting better.
Yes,
Yeah.
one day. Well, today is part 2 of The Dark Lord's Guide to Dating and Other War Crimes by Tiffany Hunt. I had to make sure I had that pulled up because for some reason I can never remember the author's names.
I can't either. And it's kind of a long title.
A long
So
title, yeah.
yeah. So I was a
It's
little
a mouthful.
It is. It is. But so totally worth it. So I'm going to start us off here. And we ended our last episode with Kazimir agreeing to start training Arabella in her magic. We're going to cut to that scene here. So Arabella and Kazimir are training her magic, and it's pretty disastrous, but that's mostly because Arabella is so powerful. The majority of her training revolves around Arabella focusing on the good side of her powers and light specifically. And Kazimir tries to explain to her how to channel and focus her power. She has some okay first attempts, but she loses focus and her power flares and surges and it catches Kazimir's shirt on fire. So I have a little couple of quotes from this scene. Kazimir goes, "Well, that was unexpected." Arabella responds, "I did warn you about my track record." She's referencing back to her catching her prior suitors
They do
on
talk
fire.
about that.
Yeah.
In like chapter 2, they're laughing about her setting someone on fire.
Yes. Kazimir responds with, "If you wanted to see me shirtless again, you could have just asked." And Arabella responds with, "If this had been deliberate, I'd have aimed for your pants too." And
He's like, "What?
What?" She is super embarrassed about this because she starts thinking about him naked in front of her because he sleeps naked. So she's kind of outing herself for owning up to the fact that she's been she's seen things. She's seen it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. If I was like that, she would purposely have aimed for his pants anyway. So funny.
But Kazimir brushes it off and tells her she's actually doing well since she can at least conjure something. So for day 1, he's like, you're doing pretty good, all things considered, even though it's kind of a full-blown magical inferno. He gives her a focus stone to help her channel things more directly, but she has too much power for that too and shatters the stone. When she shatters the stone, there's a little bit of like a magical explosion that ends up happening, and Kazimir tackles her to shield her from any damage. He probably lays on top of her for longer than necessary.
Yeah. The tension is tensioning.
Oh, it's so tensiony. But he chalks the whole situation up to a good learning experience for both of them. They continue training until he can tell that she's exhausted, and as they're leaving their little training session, she advises him that next time maybe he should wear something less flammable. Noted. Training continues, and Kazimir commissions clothing that is flame resistant to hopefully prevent any future mishaps. While they are training together,
lighter on the flames, heavier on the tension.
They're not really spending any time together outside of the training that they're doing. So he decides that he wants to give her a proper tour of the fortress. Again, there's so many funny things in this book, but he asks her, "Would you like to inspect our dungeons first? We could start with the darkest cell if that feels more traditionally villainous." He says so many funny quips,
the one-liners, yeah.
So witty. It's so witty. Their conversation during this guided tour discusses how much she has already explored, and he tells her he knows of her whereabouts essentially at all times. She first is kind of upset that she feels like he's spying on her. But he tells her, like, "Come on, this is my fortress. Of course, I am aware of what's going on inside," which she concedes, yeah, okay, I guess that makes sense. He starts to warn her about some of the off-limits areas and gives her a general lay of the fortress. And while overlooking the central courtyard where all of the areas of the fortress can be seen. So they're kind of overlooking everything. And he's like, okay, this is the West Tower. This is, he's kind of describing all the different parts of the fortress. So Kazimir says, "The observatory in the southwest where you've already caused mischief." Arabella responds with, "I wasn't going to tell you about that."
Oh, yeah. I was like, is that where she touched the crystal or whatever?
Yes. And Kazimir says, "Griffin always caves. He can never keep a secret from me." And now you, apparently, because he's referencing back to Griffin, spilled the beans on the biting roses. So Griffin can't
He
he can't keep a secret from anybody. So
I love him.
He's the best side character, like one of my favorites that I've read in a really long time.
Yeah.
He's amazing. Kazimir explains that he didn't actually design or build the fortress, but has made updates to it to best fit his needs. He also explains that the fortress is only part of his domain, with other cities and structures that are part of the outer court, which are on separate isles. So
I'm like, I need the lore of the citadel.
I
Like,
have never
where
asked.
did it come from? What's going on?
I know, because he did say that he kind of either, I don't know if I want to use the word inherited it. He
I was
probably
going to say that too.
overtook
like,
it.
I feel
I don't
like-
know what he did, because he keeps talking
Right.
about, and he doesn't seem to totally know all of the ins and outs of the fortress or like the magic associated with it. I have never wanted or really, really wanted a map in a book, and this one doesn't have one.
No map of like the country, or I'm like, I need a map of this citadel. Explain to me how this works.
Especially because of the lightning bridges. It would have.
Yes.
It would have been.
And they're floating. I'm imagining sort of an Avatar, and they go to the floating islands or whatever, kind of giant chunks of, I guess, rock. They'd have to be anchored to something. It can't just be towers with no foundation. But
have you ever seen
it's hard to imagine?
Yeah. Have you ever seen Howl's Moving Castle?
No.
It's like a Japanese
real?
animation studio.
Oh, okay. I was like, what is it?
Movie, but it just, for whatever reason, the house, it doesn't really float in that movie necessarily, but that's kind of what it reminds me of. It's like, I don't know. It's a Studio Gilby, so like
think about.
Yeah. Okay. So they go through the high gardens where he warns her of more biting plants and discusses some of the statistics of the fortress and the lore around the fortress's ability to appear and disappear at will. This leads Arabella mentioning that her father had forbade her servants from telling her any stories about him, which obviously meant that she got all the gossip that was ever available. Like, the second you tell her you can't know anything about this, then she's like, oh, well, I want information.
Right.
Well,
it's just like Dumbledore, where he's like, what happened between you and Professor Quirrell is a complete secret. So naturally, the whole school knows.
Yes, 100%. That's exactly it. He wants to know then all that she had heard about him. So she talks about some of the things that she had heard, like he was covered in tattoos, but she saw when he got naked in front of her that it's actually scars. One of the other things that she'd heard was that he collects virgins for sacrifice. He's like, no, I don't do that.
Poor virgins. They're always.
And the other thing that comes up is that he can read minds, which he jokes that he actually encourages that rumor about him, but it's really that he's just very good at reading people.
The banter is bantering so hard in this.
Oh my gosh,
part. I mean, the whole, I mean, any of their interactions. It's
right. Because she's like, oh, this is what I've heard about you. Is any of this true? You're sacrificing virgins and you've got, all these abilities. He's like, no, yes, no.
Yeah.
She asks him then if he can read her, and his assessment of her is a little too on the nose.
I was like, he clocked her so hard.
He did. He's like, this is your personality. And I feel like she just sat there and she was like,
oh, God, you got nothing wrong.
Right. Yes. Kind of specifically, he talks about her being a survivor, and she'll do anything when she's cornered. They flirt a little bit here with her telling him a lot of stories revolve around the virgin. So we're kind of getting back to that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she's like, I better not tell you in case it offends your villainous sensibilities.
Like as if he would be offended about these like horrible things about
delicate sensibilities, villainous sensibility.
I doubt it.
Okay.
But one of the rumors is that Blackrose isn't actually his surname. I highlighted this as a little bit more of a serious note because he said names can be chosen and they can be changed if one's past is worth discarding. So I think...
Who are you?
Exactly. I think he has more of a backstory that he's letting on, and that he's maybe not at all who he says he is. I've got some theories on this, but I'll come back to this because there's more that comes up in this part.
I know. I'm going to talk about it later too, but who is your mom and why is she fucking you up with runes?
Exactly. What is going on? Like, why? I need to know.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. They continue their tour and he lets her know that they're going to have to put a united front out to his court, but for her to not really use her magic in front of them until she has more control. I think he's like saying this in kind of a nice way, like, don't make a fool of yourself because you don't have a control over anything yet.
Yeah.
And also B, don't set my entire fortress on fire because you can't control it. So for now, he asks her to sit there and be astonishing and let me terrify anyone who looks at you the wrong way. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Touch her and die.
Exactly. While he holds court and listens to grievances. So as he leads her up to the throne, he gives her a claiming kiss to the neck, and then she takes her seat. Kazimir basically peacocks and doles out his decisions while she sits very queenly beside him. She doesn't fully approve of his ruling style because he's mean. Like he totally is like a dictator warlord, like off with their head kind of decision-making style. And after they're all done, she asks him if the kiss that he gave her was really necessary. And he called it a tactical display of possession. Like everything, everything has an ulterior motive. He's like saying, I didn't do that because I wanted to kiss you. I did that, to show that you're mine.
This book is funny because it has a name for all of the tropes that happen in the books, which you're like, yeah. They do be doing that.
Yep.
But he's like saying it out loud.
Exactly. It's this is why I feel like this is kind of a spoof on a romatasy, because they really kind of use and highlight, this author uses every single mini thing that happens in romantasy books and throws them all into this one, which is really fun.
And makes it a joke. Yeah, it's great.
So their discussion gets interrupted with a guard informing Kazimir that Solandris bandits are raiding the border villages. Arabella is surprised that he sees to these type of matters himself and then asks him not to get himself killed.
Oh my God. And as they're parting, they brush hands. Immaculate hand acting. The hand touches.
Oh, it's the best. Just so makes my heart go ba-bum, 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 All right. So we cut to Kazmir's point of view, and he is putting a stop to the bandits, and he's in the midst of killing one of them when the bandit asks for mercy. Kazimir responds with, mercy? Did we cover that in Villainy 101? I think I was absent that day.
Yeah. And when he's describing the guy dying, this happens later in the book too, this similar thing, but it's like his eyes went wide as though death was an unexpected plot twist in his chosen career path as a bandit that is raiding a village.
Didn't think this would happen.
Die.
Gosh, did not sign up for this. He finds out from the bandit that they were hired by a fancy-sounding Solandrian who told them these villages were easy pickings. Kazimir kills the bandit, and after he does so, he is thinking about if this is good exercise, like physical exercise for him, and he wonders if Arabella would appreciate how he looks after a bloody scuffle. He's not even thinking about that. He's just I wonder if she'd think this is hot, what I'm doing right now. Yes.
Yeah, well, and then also when he is going to kill him, the bandit's like, you promised mercy? And he was like, I promised nothing. And I was like, that shouldn't be hot, but it was.
Yes, very much so.
I promised nothing.
Just so rules with the iron fist. It's None of Kazimir's men are killed in the altercation, and he calls the villagers out of their homes to get some more information from them. He finds out that these raids have been happening for weeks, and their viscountess has been spread too thin to really help them. So in return for basically showing up and saving them, he asks for their loyalty to him. Because of his reputation, some of them seem weary, but they can't deny that he did. He just saved them from the bandits. As they're negotiating, the Viscountess Marana, the same very obviously jealous psycho bitch from their wedding that had all the daggers, rides up with her men. Yeah. I was like, oh no, I didn't want her to show back up again, but bummer for us.
I mean, I definitely knew she was showing back up.
Yeah, I know. I was just hoping, but
Wah, wah.
This village that he just saved is part of her territory. Kazimir and her exchange some brief words about her inability to protect her people and that he's offered them some protection. She asks if they can speak privately, and they go to a nearby tavern. She tries to make some excuses as to why her men weren't available to protect the village, but he could tell from their arrival that the trust of the villagers has swayed in his direction since him and his men actually showed up to help. They both agree that some amendments to their existing treaty are necessary for this added protection. She tries to make some sassy remarks about the wedding, his new bride, and reminds him of the fun they used to have together and that it's still on the table if he wants it. Slut. She makes it pretty clear. Well, she's married, so I mean, come on.
Yeah. Not a good
No.
An adulteress.
Yes. God. She tries to he makes it pretty clear that he has no interest in her anymore and that their prior arrangement meant nothing and that he will not be continuing that side of things anymore, which really seems to miff her, although it's brought up that, again, she's married. So anyway, on to a more serious subject. Kazimir points out.
It's a political marriage, I'm sure.
It is. Which,
no love lost.
Yeah. All those higher ups, I mean, he stole his bride and kidnapped her, so.
Right.
I mean, we can't judge.
Absolutely no moral ground.
Yes, exactly. Kazimir points out that the bandits knew that she was spread thin and wouldn't be able to protect the village. So there seems to be other factors at play. She gives him a friendly heads up about some Salandris troops that she saw before he portals back to his fortress. Upon his return, Kazimir goes to Arabella's room and he just barges in. I was, however, still the Dark Lord, not some shy errand boy. Knocking was for peasants and heroes.
Okay. First of all, the word peasants is always funny to me if somebody uses that. Yeah. So the fact that it's in there is.
I love that.
Love it. I also highlighted that part.
So he barges in and he's got some leather training gear to give her as a gift. He jokes that they're flame resistant since she keeps lighting things on fire, like his shirt, which she wishes was his pants too. And he invites her to dinner with his advisors and says that she can wear these if she likes. There's some discussion about her father only ever allowing her to wear dresses. So he's giving her some more options in life, just in general, and the clothes. Like that was a big thing for him, like subtle thing that he did that was really nice. Yeah. So she asks him what kind of role she needs to play during the dinner. So, she's like, okay, so what do I do? And she's like, while you plot the realm's downfall between one course and the next. And he says, oh, don't forget the part where we debate infrastructure. So it's like, he's trying to be like, yeah, well, we're going to do that. But then we got to talk about like other real problems too.
Yeah.
And tells her to try on her leathers that he made her. And he somewhat gentlemanly leaves the room for her to change. And wonders if he's losing his edge a little bit. He's just being way too nice to her. She comes out and he's pretty goo goo gaga over how she looks in her very
hot
tight
leather. I'm also like, how comfortable and like movable is leather? I always feel like that would be the worst thing ever to wear and try to maneuver in.
I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever had like a true leather anything.
Right.
So I don't know. Maybe it is more flexible than, I don't know. I'm thinking of it being very stiff and like you can't move. I don't know.
I think about this too in like K-pop Demon Hunters when they're wearing leather and they'd go down the slide or whatever. But I was like, how can you fight in leather? I don't understand. Spandex or something.
I know. Well, this is their version of spandex.
I know. They don't have synthetic fabrics yet, but
how come Griffin hasn't made some for them? He should be able to figure that out. Gosh. Yeah. Okay.
I should do some research into leather.
Yes, about back then and how flexible it really was.
Yeah, fighting leather is not. Okay, anyway, we're getting off topic.
She's a little self-conscious about wearing those leathers, to which he says, you are Lady Blackrose. If anyone disagrees, you can set them on fire. Like, so he's...
Burn.
He's totally giving her the go-ahead to just do whatever she wants, so.
Yeah.
They head to dinner and find all of Kazimir's closest advisors waiting. Dinner discussion leads to them asking Arabella how her training is going, and she admits pretty smugly that she lit Kazimir's on fire, which it delights everyone. They all think it's amazing that she did that. It's so great. Discussion goes back to the bandits and talk of them targeting villages that are kind of in a no man's land between Salandris and Arvarin, which is apparently part of Viscountess Morana's territory.
Yeah.
Again, I need a map.
I was confused. Yes. I'm like, is Arvarin like a territory? Is Salandris a kingdom? Is that where the king lives?
Right.
And then is this outside of that? And the king, but the king has to have control over her.
Or is it like, or is Arvarin like a territory within Salandris, but somehow they're not? Again, a little confused.
Yeah.
Never have I wanted.
Whatever.
Yeah. A map.
Yeah.
But I do.
Yeah.
But I do want a map. there's some discussion about where this information is coming from, why Morana isn't doing a great job protecting her people. Sorry. And Griffin is fucking around with his ley lines mapping invention in the background while all of this is happening, and he's shooting springs and bolts and stuff into people's wine glasses. Like
Yeah, and it's like catching on fire. I would forget that he was working on that, and then it would cut back to him. Something is like sparking or doing something.
Yeah, it's like they're in the middle of a conversation. All of a sudden, there's this little quick like cut, and Griffin's like got something blown up in his face.
Right. Yeah, and he's like, "This thing works great if it doesn't explode." And I'm like, everything is exploding in this book. All they talk about is we have to train down here in case something explodes. We had to go in this workshop because Griffin's thing exploded last time, and everything is exploding. Very volatile.
This, as they're talking about this, the ley lines. This leads to theories on issues with the Golden Rose fields, which have to do with the heroic bloodline and the rituals that these roses are powerful for. However, they seem to be losing their potency. So I don't know if that's going to be brought back at another point, but there is some discussion because Kazimir, it's the Golden Roses that affect his dominion magic, what their magic source, and kind of what Arabella's healing magic and that kind of stuff. It seems like from the first hero, that bloodline, the Golden Roses are part of this magic in their magic system in this book. And Kazimir thinks that they're losing their potency due to the natural ley lines in the earth. So this is kind of why Griffin is messing with this ley line thing that he's got.
Oh, okay. So I guess I was like forgetting that part.
Yeah,
that aspect of it. But it's kind of like if they can activate the heirloom, then he will be able to control all the ley lines, finding out where they all are. So that he can redraw the lines or something.
To be more beneficial for him magically, or so that he can use his dominion magic in...
Yeah. Whatever. Let's, it's probably not that deep.
Nope, it's not. We're throwing information out. Yeah, it's not.
Like, even for me, what's important is the banter and the tension, actually. I don't need to know how the magic system works.
I know. Arabella asks why he's protecting these smaller villages, and he tells her to both expand his trading empire as well as undermine King Aramar, I don't know how to say his name, of Solandris.
Nobody knows, but it's provocative.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Arabella then brings up Morana, and she thought that those villages were in her territory, which allows Kazimir to bring up that they are invited to Morana's manor for dinner. This surprises Arabella, but Kazimir knows Morana is just trying to suss out their relationship. And then he also wants to go to remind Morana of her place and the consequences of her killing a member of the syndicate at their wedding. Arabella says, so I'm basically an accessory to piss her off and demonstrate solidarity all in one go. She agrees mostly to see what is happening with her own eyes. Dinner progresses, and Kazimir is stunned with how much he wants Arabella to be comfortable with him. So this is just kind of like a little internal thought he's got going on. So
he's like watching her laughing with Vex, and just looking happy and relaxed.
Which surprises him.
To feel that way around him too. Yeah.
Exactly. They're training again, and it's not going well. Kazimir says, you're scared of your own potential. You've spent your life healing and creating. You think tapping that same source to destroy is unnatural. Stop acting like destruction is a violation. It's transformation. It's the same energy, just reversed. Which I don't know if I totally agree with that. But interesting when it comes to magic. Okay,
whatever you say. This is always one of those things when people are training where the mentor, whoever training them, is giving them instructions that are nothing. They're not helpful at all. And the person's like, oh, let me try again. I can do it.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes, that one very random piece of advice that doesn't really make much sense. Just totally gave me the abilities.
My favorite, is when they completely have not mastered anything and they still have, so much work to do. And then their mentor dies and suddenly they know
it all. Yep. They can do it all now.
That happens almost constantly in Star Wars, I feel like. Like Luke is not able to do anything. Yoda dies and all of a sudden he's a Jedi Master. And then Rey can't do shit. And then Luke, she decides to leave and now she's like, I can do whatever I want. I'm good.
She hangs out with Leia for a week. in the forest, and she's got it covered.
So I'm like, okay,
my
great.
gosh. Yep. Arabella begrudgingly figures out how to kill the flower that she was trying to wilt and kill, but she is not happy with it. This is a very tension-filled instruction flirting time from Kazimir while he's trying to help her with this. And
Just like always.
yep. And she is somewhat horrified of her ability to destroy things. So she's not loving this kind of new side of her magic that she's learning about. He tries to get her to do the same thing to a mouse, but she refuses. He then starts showing off his dominion magic, and he says dominion is about control. Bending the world to your purpose. It demands certainty and the boldness to shape reality as you see fit. So
yeah.
I think that he's trying to say that like his dominion magic is like requires confidence, and it requires like control in that aspect. Like you have to be confident in your ability to wield so that you can have the control of that magic. That was kind of what I took from that quote.
Yeah. And I was just thinking, I'm like, I guess is dominion just another word for black magic?
Dark, exactly.
Dark magic.
Yeah.
Like,
it seems like
what
what
are we
it is.
doing?
Like the golden rose is good, light magic, the dominion magic dark. I think that's basically all it is. He asks her, he projects a vision of what he wants to turn Solandris into once he takes over everything. He asks her to show off too and asks him to bring her something dead. She doesn't resurrect the dead bird that she brings him, but reanimates it. So it appears lifelike. But the second she withdraws her magic, it falls dead again. She explains no one knew about this ability as death magic is very frowned upon. So
yeah, they start talking about necromancy here, I think. Or maybe it's later. But I was like, yeah, it's 100% necromancy. I looked it up though. And the definition is actually communing with the dead, oftentimes for fortune telling and things.
Really?
And so I was like, wait, what?
So
and apparently, I mean, the only thing I could really find was that doing this is like reanimation.
Okay.
You're reanimating something.
Yes,
it's all semantics, I'm sure, but I feel like if you said necromancy, everybody would think you were talking about that. Or I think it's associated
like creating a zombie army.
Magic.
Yeah, like I'm thinking of like zombie army. Like you raise the dead. They're not really alive. You use the dead army.
Right.
Yeah.
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 I know.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe it's one of those, what is the thing where, you know, you think you remember something and it turns out it's not that at all? Like,
the
you know what I'm talking about?
Mandela effect stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Oh, don't get me started on some conspiracy theories. Okay, so there's some major tension and eye contact between them, but Arabella puts some space in between them and is very weak and tired from the use of magic and wants to be done for the day. Kazimir escorts her back to their rooms when a messenger stops them that there's been word from her father. Bum, bum, bum. Okay. The letter is addressed to Kazimir alone, and it isn't asking for her back, but merely compensation for stealing her, or there would be aggressive retaliation. What a dick. Her dad is the worst.
Yeah,
you know?
Seriously. Also, how you live in a floating citadel. That doesn't make any threats to you. I'd be like, this is impenetrable. We portal in and out of it. I don't understand how anybody else could get in.
Yeah, good luck.
You just have to lay siege to there. And then I could just portal out. Explain it yourself.
I know. Make it make sense.
Seriously.
Arabella reads the letter, and while stoic, it hurt her that he didn't ask about her and how she was doing. Kazimir reiterates to her that he won't give her back, but I also gave you my word when I said your father would never touch you again, and I intend to keep it. So he's a little possessive already. He's like, I don't care what you said. You're not going back there. So
right.
Yeah.
He's mine now. And he also like is having sympathy for her a little bit, or understanding what it's like, because he understands what it's like to be a bargaining chip, he thinks, and his parents' plan. So clearly, his mother did horrible stuff to him, and he didn't really consent as a child. And he's like, only I can be mean to her, okay? Thank you. Moving on.
He tells Arabella to get ready for dinner as he's made something special in response to her magical progress. She somewhat doubts his motives since reading the letter, but agrees and is grateful for his honesty, at least in this matter.
Yeah. Oh, right. But he's also like, she's kind of vulnerable right now. It's probably the perfect time to seduce her. So maybe honesty is a loose term here.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, I'll be honest once I try to get you to sleep with me.
Kazimir muses about what his future plans need to entail. First things first, a letter to respond to, a seduction to refine, and a father-in-law to put in his place. I couldn't help a dark smile. Villainy was never dull.
I'm swamped.
I'm swamped. Here, and I'll let you read this because we're going on to the next chapter, and this chapter title was hilarious.
And that's charm her with chemistry, in parentheses, side effect, immediate nap time. I was like, what is going to happen?
I was like, what is this? This is weird. What a weird. Okay. But they're all funny. Like every single name of chapter is really funny.
Yeah.
So. They're eating dinner together in Kazmir's private chambers. He has dismissed all of the servants, and it's a somewhat intimate setting. He offers her some more wine, and he's really trying to seduce her.
Another finger brush when they're passing the goblet.
Is that part of some official Dark Lord doctrine? Right between always monologue before killing your enemies and ensure your fortress has dramatic lighting. Like Arabella's giving him shit about like the intimate setting and what he's got going on, right?
Yeah.
And he asks her why she never calls him by his first name, which she admits that implies a closeness that they do not have yet. As you said, names imply different things. When you called me Lord Blackrose, you're acknowledging the villain, the warlord. But if you said Kazimir, it might be directed at the man, not just the darkness. And I was like, being a little vulnerable about this. You really want her to call you Kazimir, don't you?
But it's also like, you kidnapped her, so
yeah, I think
she's still pissed. Right.
They're flirting and having a good conversation when the letter from her father is brought up again. And Kazimir wonders what ulterior motives her father may have, and he asks Arabella about it. She knows that her father must have had some mechanisms in the works to elevate his station prior to her being kidnapped. But also in this part, she kind of is like, listen, my dad is not the smartest guy. Whatever plans he or is going to be trying to execute, I can almost guarantee you they were not his own idea. Like she kind of tells him he's kind of an idiot. So
right.
Yeah. There's some joking about her prior mishaps that had gone on with suitors before she got kidnapped and how she got herself out of those arrangements. She not so indirectly thanks Kazimir for saving her from that fate of more potential suitors that she had once nothing to do with.
Yeah. And he's like, if you want, I could kill your dad. She's like, oh, no, that's okay.
That's okay. Thanks, but not yet.
Not right now.
It's okay. She starts getting very sleepy and then super annoyed because she realizes that he did something to the food or her wine that has happened to her in the past. When she was living with her father, when others had tried to spike her food or drink with an aphrodisiac, she has the unintended opposite effect, and it makes her very sleepy instead of very horny.
Foiled again.
And I know that he is supposed to be a villain, but he really can't just try to seduce her the old-fashioned. There's all this tension and banter already. Why did he have to do this? You know,
right.
like,
and I'm also like, how strong are these things? What do they actually do? Is it like, oh, I'm eating oysters, this is an old wives' tale, or I guess it's truly a drug.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you seem so worried about consent. You weren't going to consummate the marriage in the beginning. You weren't.
Yeah.
I mean, and so that you tried this feels alarming to me. I'm like, it's such a step up.
Right.
And then it just feels bordering on not okay. And then the fact that he roofied her, basically. Yes. So like, thank God this is not like a George R. R. Martin book or something.
Because who knows what would have happened to her after that.
I mean, I know what would have happened, but yeah. I'm like, thank you, female author, for me feeling safe about this. Anyway, there.
Well, and then at first I was... if it was an aphrodisiac thing, I was like, I'm thinking of like, did he sprinkle some mushrooms that are supposed to just have some added effect that like maybe put her in the mood? Like,
right.
But for her to be like, nope, this has happened before, you jerk. Like, I know exactly what's going on right now.
They're even drinking wine and stuff. That should be enough, if you're just looking for a little bit of extra.
Then she is super mad at him, but allows him to carry her to bed because she's basically falling asleep on her feet. And Kazimir has this internal thought that at every turn, Arabella had a way of confounding me. I suspected I'd be thinking about it long into the night. So I think he regrets this a little bit, especially because they were having like a good conversation. He could have just not tried to drug her, but I digress.
Right. It's like,
did you really need
hello?
anything else? Yeah.
Okay. Oh, boy.
All right, so they are headed to see Marana, and Arabella dresses in her training leathers, which Kazimir chuckles because he knows it's simply to piss off Marana. Like, that's why she's wearing them, because she looks really good in them, apparently. So it's been a few days since the aphrodisiac incident where Arabella reamed him about trust and integrity once again, because
Yath Queen, tell him.
Why just he agreed that he was going to be like more honest with her about some of this stuff.
Right. Right before he did that.
Exactly. God, it's so annoying.
Stupid.
Okay. But they have seemed to fall back on some normal footing by this point. They are using a portal to go to Marana's, and Arabella is still not very trusting of him though. Like they're getting better, but she's not super happy with him still. So she says, "If I end up in a dungeon somewhere, I will make you regret it." A low laugh escaped Kazimir, darker than he intended. Is that a promise? Because I can imagine some very entertaining ways for you to seek vengeance.
Shut up.
I know. Whew, K-Kaz. All right. They pass through the portal, and Thorn is waiting there with horses for them to ride the rest of the way to Marana's territory. There is so much back and forth and flirting on the way there, between joking about sharing a horse and her keeping him on his toes, him complimenting her on being a good rider. It's just like constant back and forth between them the entire ride there. His personal territory gets brought up, and as he's explaining the boundaries of his domain, he implies that some of the land was inherited. When Arabella asks further, he admits that he killed his father when he was 17.
Beheaded him.
Beheaded him, yes.
What? Like at dinner or something crazy?
Yeah. And he doesn't want to talk anymore about it right now. It happened, like, but we're not going into further detail about that though. They reach Marana's manor, and she comes out to meet them.
Oh, it's like she's wearing her stabbing corset. Be careful.
Yeah. There's a brief exchange that's pretty tense, but Arabella is not intimidated and projects fierce strength and calm, and Kazimir is really proud of her reaction, but still advises her to be very wary. They're basically in hostile territory right now. There are mounted heads of all different creatures all over the dining room where they're eating in Marana's manor, and I just had to add that in there because it's gross. I mean, they're talking about like multi-headed creatures and monsters and all this kind of stuff.
And so it's like, oh, you helped him kill the chimera that one time. Remember?
That one time, you remember that? Yes. And as they're having dinner, Arabella notices the stark difference between Marana and her husband. Marana is brash and bold, and her husband seems to be meek, and he lets Marana basically dominate everything. Marana attempts to flirt with Kazimir, and they have a very boring conversation about wine, which leads to Marana attempting to prove their marriage is one of convenience. So Arabella puts on a little show to make Marana jealous, and she at least gives the appearance. So she is like standing by his side at this point, and at least projecting.
Yeah, him saying we gotta pretend in public.
Yes. So a tense discussion ensues regarding where Marana is sending her forces and if the villages are being properly protected. Kazimir is irritated with Marana, and Arabella is using her truth sense to determine how truthful Marana is actually being. She then throws in some more barbs about Marana being jealous of them, and Kazimir has to kind of like stop the cat fight at this point. He has to kind of...
Yeah. He's like, enough. Which he does that a lot. And every time I'm like, okay.
Okay. What else? And they negotiate another trade deal to protect the villages, and Kazimir will set up a trade portal with, I'm assuming, directly with the citadel. It sounds like, maybe. They go to leave, and Kazimir makes up a bullshit excuse about his horse being lame. So
like not even
nothing's wrong.
Acting weird. Yeah, I mean, it's just really funny.
Yeah, so he's like,
oh, it's lame, as it like trots up to them.
Yep. Guess we got to ride together. Yeah. And so he's like, yep, guess we got to ride together back to the portal. But he also knows that Marana is watching them leave. So Arabella, instead of fighting him on it, she again is being a very good wife, basically. And at least in their, they're standing strong on this together. So she kind of begrudgingly lets him get on the back of the horse with her.
And she probably wants any excuse to, she's like, oh, okay, I'll do it.
Oh gosh, twist my arm, I guess we can
Right.
share.
And then the banter while they're on the horse.
Oh my
I was just
gosh.
imagining too, like Outlander, when Jamie
Jamie
and
and
Claire are
Claire.
riding together.
Oh my god. Yeah, another thing, like every single
Mhm.
little
So
micro
wrap
trope.
your blankie around
His coat.
keep her warm. Yeah.
Yep. I love it. So as they're on the horse, Casimir reveals that Marana's husband is aware of her conquests outside of their marriage, and Casimir admits that it cost him less men to go to her bed than storming her walls.
Mhm.
So
Right.
he admits, like, it really meant nothing, and he only slept with her for political advantage, which might
Mhm.
be wearing thin now that he's married. So I think that that's going to be an
Oh,
interesting,
yeah.
kind of.
I guess that's a good point. She's, like, jilted now. So I'm
Yes.
like, why is everybody so obsessed with, like, keeping this relationship with him going in that way?
Well, maybe we'll
I
find
guess
out
he's
why.
well, yeah, we could assume,
Yes.
but who's the I mean, whatever.
Yes.
This is a book, okay? It's
Okay.
fantasy.
Yes. So while he loved the deceptive and villainous side of being with her, he was never actually interested in her. So Arabella wonders aloud if she could have a similar arrangement since their marriage is also just an arrangement. And that pisses Casimir off royally. He is like, absolutely fucking not. We are not having an open marriage. And
It's like,
she's actually really
yeah.
happy about his possessive response.
It's like, down so bad.
I know. She's like, okay. Well, just testing you. Just testing you on that.
Yeah.
Arabella is freezing after their little adventure. She just can't get warm. So
The cuddle.
Casimir brings her to a little secret kitchen to make her some mulled wine and get her some food.
Oh my god, he picks her up and puts her on the counter. I get it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
It's too much.
I think I did the little feet kick.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, that's so cute. Okay. So Arabella uses this opportunity to circle back to him getting jealous at the thought of her taking a lover and questions if he would ever take a lover outside of her. And he says, I find myself sufficiently occupied with one infuriating woman. Thank you. Like, I don't need any more drama in my life. You are enough right now. Thank you, though, for checking. He also says that her and Marana are not the same, so she cannot compare him not being jealous or possessive of Marana versus how he feels about his wife. And he uses that word, and it's like, my wife, mine
His wife.
Yeah.
He's like, what's mine stays mine. I was like, okay, sir, stop it.
I know. Swooning over here. So the heroic rose garden is brought up again, and Casimir asks about how Arabella's mother had heard the story about there's a story that Arabella tells him about how the roses are about transformation and not conquest. Like the story of the first hero, there's like an alternate kind of version of this story that is in everything, and it has more to do with this transformation and kind of like acceptance and versus the conquest, which is kind of all that everyone currently thinks about, especially Casimir. That's kind of the whole part of that fable that
It's
he
like
believes.
she's the only person that's ever told that story.
And she asks why the heirloom isn't working. And he says he's not sure, which she detects as a lie with her truth sense.
Such a useful gift.
It really is. But maybe I wouldn't want to have, I don't know. We kind of talked about that.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I
Yeah.
really
Make
know.
you
Yeah.
so cynical. Yep. But
Yep.
also, I must interject that there is another scent profile here of winter storms in steel. I will be bringing it up every single time someone's smell is described.
And it's always
I need
his.
to suffer with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
They head back to bed, and there's an almost so close kiss moment before she steps away and goes to her side of her pillow wall that she erects between them every night before they go to bed.
Come on, kiss. He just made you mulled wine,
and we were
picked you up and put you on the counter.
No, I was chanting in the background, kiss.
Yeah.
And
pick number 2, my lord.
But he holds up the wrong number. But Arabella is pointed in herself for forcing the distance between them. That's her last thought as they go their separate ways before bed.
Well, they've also been going back and forth. I mean, obviously, they're just having this conversation, but like, would you want to sleep with anyone else? No. Would you want to sleep with anyone else? She's like, just kiss. What?
Oh, so funny. So funny. Yeah.
So anyway, all right, they go to sleep, and then we cut to them training more, and Arabella's continuing to practice sending magic into dead things. I don't love it, but
I don't either. Yeah.
So yeah, she's able to move them like a puppet. That's how she describes it. And so right now she's practicing on a rose, and Kazimir tells her to remember what it was. Again, very vague directions that she's able to take and run with. And so she does that. She's able to move the rose. It's not quite living. It's more than a ghost. It's not quite dead. I don't know. It's in this liminal state.
Yeah. It's like this weird in between.
Yeah, we can't say necromancy anymore because apparently
it's like but it's not.
She's reanimating it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this does take a lot of energy from her. So she has to sit down before she faints. And then she says she has to clean up before dinner, and then gives Kazimir shit because he tells her that he has something he wants them to do. And she's like, oh, you going to drug me again? You gonna try to do that? Gonna embarrass yourself again?
He's like never gonna live that down with her. Like that is gonna be
as he should. Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be brought up in an argument 6 months down the road. That one time when you tried to drug me with the aphrodisiac.
20 years later, she'll be like, oh really, honey?
You really
remember that?
Yeah.
He's like, no, I was gonna suggest something else unless you're too tired. And of course she can't resist a challenge. So they plan to meet later in the East Courtyard.
I have a funny quote from this little section. So Arabella goes, has anyone told you you're excruciatingly arrogant? He responds with, often, usually right before they beg for mercy. And she goes, charming, cute.
Love that.
Okay.
So Arabella then arrives at the East Courtyard. She sees Kazimir. He seems a little nervous, which she dismisses, like, that can't be possible. What could he be nervous about? But he's gifted her a baby shadow dragon.
Let me just... fucking
Cammy wants a dragon.
I do.
Apparently.
I want to be Daenerys and have them like crawling all over me. Except for, you know what's weird? I absolutely don't really love reptiles or lizards. So it's funny that I would love a dragon. But it needs to be something else.
In theory, I would love a dragon.
In theory, yes. Yeah. You probably would have got naked right there for him. That's what I put in my notes.
Like, let's activate this heirloom.
Let's go, baby.
So he tells her it's a late wedding present and the dragon's still young enough to bond. So the dragon and Arabella hit it off right away. The dragon's name is Nyx, as in Stevie. No, not really, but Nyx. Anyway,
super cute.
Arabella is overcome. And she says the dragon smelled of lightning storms and charred sugar. What the fuck?
So a burnt marshmallow? Is that what the dragon smelled like? That's the only thing I could think of. Yes. Yummy.
Yeah. And I'm like, charred sugar is sweet. Anyway, it has to be. I'm like, please be a joke.
Yeah.
Please, all of these be jokes. But yeah, this is a pretty sweet gift. I would also be psyched. But Kazimir is like, you're my wife. You need an impressive mount. You can't just be showing up on a horse.
And then she's thanking him, and he goes, all right, don't get sappy. We villains prefer ominous declarations and chaos. So he's like, you're being too nice to me about this right now. Leave me alone. Yeah.
It's not the big video. So now that Arabella and Nyx are bonded, Arabella can feel the dragon's emotions, and they can kind of communicate with each other. That's very handy. Arabella also confirms with Kazimir that shadow dragons can slip through realms. So if Nyx gets big enough, in theory, Nyx could carry Arabella away past the Citadel's wards. And Kazimir says she won't be big enough for about a year at least. But yeah, Arabella could leave. And suddenly this gift feels even bigger than just an awesome dragon. It feels kind of like trust.
So this whole part, I was like, he really is so much kinder and considerate than he like pretends or projects himself to be. Or maybe he's also just so arrogant that he thinks that she'll be in love with him for real by the time the dragon is big enough for her to fly away. I don't know. Maybe his use for her is over by the time the dragon's, I don't know. You know, like at this point I was kind of
right. But I mean, even that though, I'm like, how hard does he really pretend or project himself to be? He's funny. He's been funny. All of his staff, seem like they really like him and are loyal to him. They're not,
do, but like the staff.
Advisors is what I meant. Yeah, but I guess
servants are like.
Servants are scared.
They're terrified. Right. Like they talk about when he walks by them in the walls, they like plaster themselves and like look away and like hope that he doesn't.
And I just think
yell at them.
and I wonder though too because Pip. said that he was basically a villager whose village got destroyed by bandits, and then Kazimir took him in, was like, we can't waste good labor. And so I wonder if all of them were kind of incorporated like that, and so they are afraid of him because he came in, you know, they saw him be vicious or whatever. But I'm like, as readers, we haven't really seen him do anything mean or scary, and so there is a little disconnect.
Yeah.
At least for me. I'm like, okay, is he really that terrifying? I don't think so. Okay, so it's been 6 weeks. It's only been 6 weeks since he stole her, but 6 weeks of sexual tension, torture, and Kazimir is over it. He's being grumpy, and he's not in a good mood, but he and his minions are golfing with the eyeballs of their enemies. And I was like, how many eyeballs do you have?
Apparently,
just like driving range eyeballs. Yeah.
So I have to bring this up because I golf. So this made me laugh really hard.
Why do I always forget that? Maybe because it's wintertime right now.
Yes, because I haven't yet. But so he admits that he uses his shadow magic to direct his eyeballs. And I'm like, you fucking cheater. Like, that was the first thing. I'm like, you're using your magic to like make the eyeball go where it's supposed to. But I was laughing so hard in this whole scene. It was fabulous. It was so good.
He makes an eyeball land perfectly on Thorn since he wouldn't play with them, and you just hear him yelling. That would be terrifying. Horrible.
It would be
horrible.
Oh, gross. Ugh. They're like, they talk about like sclera and stuff like still attached to it. Like, so gross. Sorry.
Right. So as I was just finishing saying, like, Kazimir really hasn't done anything mean or scary. He's playing with gouged eyeballs. Also, this does, remember in the very beginning when that guard looked at Arabella and he tells Thorn to take him away and to use chapter 17.
With the spoons.
The one with the spoons. And I'm like, now that has such ominous connotations. Oh my God, that poor guard. Because one of his eyeballs is on the table. So
yes, for sure. So maybe it's maybe not all those enemies are not dead. It's just like maybe.
Oh God, I didn't even think about that.
Just people are just walking around with a missing eyeball.
Oh my God. Okay.
I don't know. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. That is horrible. That's, I was just assuming they were dead. Now that's worse. Thank you. Okay. Anyway, so they're playing eyeball golf and talking about matters of state. There are no updates about Lord Evenfall's plans, but he's been trying to recruit mercenaries and stuff. Kazimir has basically told him if he keeps trying to take Arabella back, it'll result in open warfare. So Arabella shows up with Nyx, needing to talk to Kazimir urgently, but before she can pull him away, she's like, I really have to talk to you. Nyx throws up Griffin's familiar, which she had eaten earlier, and Arabella's like, I gotta tell you, something really bad happened. Nyx ate it. She ate his pet.
And in this scene, I was like, Nyx is just like an oversized cat coughing up a hairball. That's like what this dragon is.
Yeah,
and totally. Poor Griffin's familiar. My gosh.
I know. And he's so sad. He's like, oh, it took me a long time to get that enchantment to work. But he gets over it pretty quickly. And then Arabella gets roped into golf. And what do you know? She's got great aim. She's good at it.
She doesn't need no shadow magic to make her eyeballs land where they are supposed to go. Okay.
So then Sims reminds Kazimir they were talking strategy. And Kazimir fills Arabella in on how her father's attempting to, quote, rescue her. Because we all know that she doesn't want to go back. Arabella says her father isn't a tactician. So he'd have to have allied himself with someone, which she already said. So that's happened a few times in this book where something's repeated.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait,
didn't we already talk about that? Yeah.
Right. Anyway, okay.
Or maybe she's just bringing it back up. Like maybe I can't remember exactly. Like if the conversation was like, oh, well, he must be. And then she's like, no, he's not smart enough. He's definitely allied.
Right.
He's got something else going on. So,
but she's saying it's probably the king that he's allied with. And so then Kazimir's feeling frustrated because Arabella was supposed to be his way to subdue Salandris, but since they haven't consummated their marriage, enemies are just circling like vultures instead. So more problems. You got 99 problems and a bitch is also one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You got 100 actually, for sure.
Right. Arabella's worried her father will do something cunning and despicable. And I was like, something bad is going to happen for sure. There's no way.
Yeah.
She's not getting, taken away and he has to save her or something.
Exactly.
Arabella's about to leave, but Kazimir convinces her to stay for another round. There's some tension, of course, and Kazimir thinks about how he'd go to war to keep Arabella. They're just
really cute without actually like being cute to each other, but like what they're thinking is really cute. Yeah.
Right. And they're having these super possessive, strong feelings and being like, but I don't like them. What are you they're just in denial.
Yeah. It's not only a river in
So
Africa, baby.
so we cut to Arabella trying to teach Nyx to control her fire breathing. Nyx actually can do this, but she's just incinerating things for fun and pretending like she doesn't know how. She's doubled in size by now and is getting stronger and more awesome. And Kazimir shows up. Arabella's feeling tinglies in her pants.
Love that.
It's and then they have some more innuendoed back and forth, but Kazimir is there to tell her that there have been more attacks on border villages and territories that Kazimir trades with. So then Kazimir asks if Arabella would be happy to be saved by her father. And she's like, no, absolutely not. And Kasimir's just surprised and he feels like warm fuzzies about how quickly she answers. It's just more tension. Good Lord. It's good stuff.
No, you could like cut it with a knife. Like the entire I was feeling anxious because of the tension between them. It just kept building throughout this whole book.
Yeah.
It was
good.
Really good. Really good.
Yes.
Yes.
It was very well written. And he says it again. What's mine stays mine. Okay. So Arabella's like, I shouldn't like that, but I do. Same girl. Same.
I know that because the use of the word mine in this book, that's like one of those microtropes that I just love. And it is really good in this book because it's not said the same way over and over necessarily. I mean, what's mine stays mine. He does say that more than once, but it's really good.
It can be overused. It doesn't feel overused or like
too cliche or too over the top or like
cheesy.
Yes, exactly.
Totally. So then Kazimir leaves and Arabella and Nyx are like, yeah, he's definitely hiding something. They're kind of communicating with each other. And Nyx, through a series of facial expressions, because all these animals have to be anthropomorphic or whatever.
Yes.
They have to act like humans or dogs. You know, they can't ever just be their own creature. She's like, girl, you're down bad. And Arabella's like, shut up. He's just hot. I still hate him. You don't know what you're talking about, dragon.
And like in this scene, I was wondering if Arabella is like actually getting these emotions from Nyx or if she's like internalizing the fact that she should be embarrassed by her feelings for him. Do you know what is she just getting these emotions from the dragon or is she having some actual self-reflection being like, I'm kind of being a dork about this. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. We'll never know.
I know.
All right. So then we cut. Kazimir sneaks to Evenfall, which is the estate Arabella grew up on, so that he can spy on her dad. And after talking with Arabella and getting another glimpse into how little he actually understands about what her father did to her, he like wants to see it for himself. So Kazimir also still has little heart eyes about the fact that Arabella has chosen to stay with him, even when he gave her the chance to leave. And I was like stressed out here, but he only has a narrow window to be here because of how Solandris affects his magic. So he's like, I can't stay for too long or else I won't be able to do anything. And Kazimir sees Arabella's father, Lord Atticus Evenfall, through the window, and he considers killing him right there, but realizes that maybe if he kills Arabella's dad without her permission, she'll be annoyed with him. So, plus he wants to give her the opportunity to confront her father and let her decide his fate. So he breaks in and realizes that there are runes carved all throughout the manor. And at first I thought these were like protective runes to keep Kazimir out too. I was like, since Solandris doesn't whatever, or like it was a trap. I mean, all of this kind of felt a little too easy. You just
he just popped over there and
but Kazimir recognizes that the runes are all keyed to Arabella's magic, and that's how her father was controlling her and keeping her suppressed without her even realizing it. And they're just everywhere.
Yeah, and I was super angry at this part when he's describing kind of all the runes and the suppression that he found in the house. But that gave me, or it was hopefully a part in the book that was going to give her some potential to have this really strong badass character arc to like overcome her overbearing father's, resistance to her being able to practice magic and that kind of thing. So,
yeah. So Kazimir keeps going through everything. He goes up to the tower where Arabella was kept, and he's also angry Cammy, he agrees with your feelings, but that she was treated this way. And he thinks about how the fact that she had any magical ability at all with all the runes still around her shows how powerful she really is. And then I was thinking about, like in Throne of Glass, when Aelin is captured and has was it iron or the steel on her for so long?
The iron.
And she can't use her magic. So then when she gets free, she has that huge, huge amount saved up. And I was like, maybe Arabella has all of this latent, and she's even more powerful. So the runes suppressing her kind of like backfired, maybe. Who knows? So then a guard catches Kazimir. So he does have to kill him. And he does this pretty violently. And then he makes a portal, like using the guy's blood or whatever, and leaves. And he gets back to the citadel, and he's feeling worried and anxious about Arabella. So he hurries back to their chambers so he can make sure that she's okay. And she's fine. She's just chilling in the room. Kazimir bursts in, and she's like, why are you covered in blood? He's like, don't worry about that. He just starts taking off all of his clothes. And she's like, ugh, you can do that in the bathroom. And then she makes sure he's not hurt. She's like, but wait, are you bleeding or is it someone else's blood? But so he crowds her a little bit. God, the image of him walking up to her and putting his hands on either side of her.
Like covered in gore, kind of. Like, what?
So yeah, he crowds her a little bit, and yep, more tension. Then he asks if she's okay or if she's hurt. And I was like, she's just been here this whole time. What are you talking about?
Weird. I mean, I don't know. That was a weird, like, his
Yeah,
concern for her well-being was kind of odd.
Right. But maybe he asks that because I think I thought I was like, wait, what? And then he continues. So I was like, oh, this is because he accuses. Oh, then he's like, you've been avoiding me. But then he massages her shoulders a little bit because she's been training with Nyx a lot and she's sore. So I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe he's like looking at her and he can tell that she has a lot of tension or something, or she's holding herself weird because her muscles hurt. I don't know.
I think he's just using an excuse to touch her.
Yeah. But, massages never go the way you want them to. I just want my shoulders rubbed. For the love of God.
That does not mean that there's a step 2. God.
But yes, it is a very charged situation. And he's another funny thing. He's good at giving massages because he's like, well, you got to know a lot of stuff about anatomy if you want to kill people painfully. So I'm able to massage you well because I understand how muscles work.
Right. Like it's
weaponized
the opposite.
Competence. Yeah.
But it's the opposite of like, I know where the pressure points are, so I'm not going to push on those. It's more like, well, I know where to really, inflict serious pain, so I'll avoid those areas for you. It's like not that, Oh, so funny.
Yeah, very funny. So then Kazimir gets in the bath, and he's enjoying the fact that Arabella was worried about him when he first showed up. And Arabella tells him that she's glad he's not hurt when he gets out, and that she can't sleep because she's been thinking about a reversal spell, and now she can't grasp the concept, which I'm like, whatever that means. And so Kazimir asks if she wants him to show her, so they have a little lesson again. There's lots of locking eyes, standing close together, all that good stuff. Brushing strands of hair away from her face. I was like, if they don't fucking kiss, I'm going to flip this table. They don't kiss. I was like, God. Arabella's able to do the magic that they're kind of practicing, which is really advanced, but she's still hesitating a little. Then after that, they get in bed. He's struggling with wanting to tell her about what he found out at Evenfall about her dad and stuff. And Arabella mentions that she's never felt magic the way she is now and feels like it's changing her. And then Kazimir says that magic will shape you just like you're shaping it. And there's a cost to power. Some people can't handle it. And Arabella asks what price he paid, but he doesn't really answer her.
Yeah, in because I thought this was going to come back as well, but the quote from that area is she asks him, what price have you paid? Like she directly, what price have you paid for magic? And he says, more than I anticipated, but less than I have feared. So interesting. Yeah. So I think that we're going to get into some dark moments.
That's not an answer.
It's not, but like something, when? And it almost is like, I thought maybe death was what he thought the price was going to be. So he's like, well, I had to give up a lot, but it's less than I kind of thought. I don't know. It's just, it's very, there's some very interesting little...
I would agree with that, but I was also like, I mean, if death is the price, like what's the point?
Right. I know. Well, I was just thinking,
but I guess you'd be like, well, I'm going to go for it. And if I die, I die.
Yeah.
If I don't know. Worth it. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Who knows? Okay. Kazimir still just feeling shaken up about the fact that he's feeling feelings for Arabella and would kill for her, essentially. He's ready to do that. Arabella purposefully doesn't build the pillow tower as tall as normal. Breaking barriers. Kazimir is like, fuck.
The pillow barrier.
I'm in deep. Yeah, the pillow barrier. The pillow wall. Okay. So now we cut to Kazimir interrogating a spy who's hanging upside down over the lightning bridge. The spy was sent by the king to assess the citadel's defenses. So Kazimir wants to know what else the spy knows. Also, how? How are you assessing the defenses of a citadel that is floating, I would assume, thousands of feet up in the air?
And how do they not have any kind of intel on this already at this point?
Yeah, it's
so
like this isn't a new, a new building.
He's supposed to have inherited this fortress. So then I'm kind of like, okay, did him and Griffin did they use magic or did Griffin help him be able to make it levitate and kind of move a little bit? Like what?
Right.
There's some interesting little
I need more lore on the building for the love of God.
I know.
So, yeah, he wants to know what else the spy knows. Turns out that Kazimir has a rune on his body that he can activate, and it changes his voice, so you're compelled to tell the truth. So the spy reveals that Lord Evenfall sold Arabella to the king for 40,000 gold crowns and a seat on the royal council. So she was going to be set to marry the king. And the spy was sent to assess if extraction was possible, and Lord Evenfall is claiming that Arabella was taken against her will. Kazimir is annoyed because Evenfall wanted 50,000 crowns from him, and so he's negotiating on both ends.
And I really predict that her dad is going to come back. You kind of mentioned this earlier, but her dad is going to come back and he's going to fuck everything up. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure. Yeah.
Totally. He's not done. Yeah, no way. So then the spy says that the arrangement was made before Arabella's abduction. Terms were being finalized when she was being kidnapped. So that was probably the suitor her dad was talking about when she was reading his letter in the carriage. Arabella is not aware of these plans, and the intention was to tell her after everything was arranged so that she couldn't refuse. And Kazimir's like, oh, how dare he do this and not give her a choice? And I was like, says the man who kidnapped her. I don't know if your anger is very righteous right now, my man.
I was
like what?
The double standards. Or is it like just because he's a villain and his kidnapping was part of his nature? You know what I mean? Like I have a right to do this because I'm a villain. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't judge me.
Ridiculous. Yeah, right. I do what I want.
Mm-hmm.
So Kazimir's magic diminishes and the spy's like, well, if you could just maybe tell the truth, like why did we even go through this whole dog and pony show? Like, why don't you just do this from the beginning? And Kazimir's like, just for fun. This was fun for me. So Spy begs for mercy, and Kazimir's like, sorry, refresh out. And he drops him onto the lightning bridge, and he is incinerated. And I was like, oh, okay. Snap. Yep. So now they know what they're dealing with. The Citadel knows what they're dealing with. The king wants his bride back, and Lord Evenfall wants his gold. X is like, oh, you saved Arabella just in time. This makes you look pretty good. And Kaz is like, I don't know if she'd see it that way, but thank you. I appreciate that. Kazimir wonders kind of idly if Arabella would prefer to be queen over Dark Lady. Now he's starting to have doubts. He's feeling a little down in the dumps. And Vex is like, well, sure, if she was queen, she'd have power, but also a husband who bought her. And he's like, well, I stole her, so no wonder she hates us.
It's like,
oh, and also, yeah, they also say that the king's 3 times Arabella's age, so there is that, but yeah, that's gross.
Yeah, so gross.
Very gross.
Yucky. Yep.
Yeah. So then the Vex is like, maybe you should tell her the truth. And he's like, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard you say, actually. And Kazimir still hasn't even told her about the runes in her father's estate. And so he tells Vex he'll consider telling Arabella the truth, but timeline unknown. So we cut to Kazimir and Arabella are training again. He's trying to get her to kill a mouse and take its life force and use it for something. Arabella obviously doesn't want to kill it. I wouldn't want to kill a mouse either, but Kazimir realizes he has extra context, right? When he's trying to force her to use this magic. So he understands the greater threat to them both, and he's trying to toughen her up. But again, he's withholding information from her. I think if she knew, maybe she'd be willing to kill the mouse. But you're just coddling her. But she does finally do it. And she turns the mouse's stolen life force into a bird. And she's like, oh, it's so beautiful. And then Kazimir reminds her it can also be deadly. She can make it explode. They love to make stuff explode. It could poison someone, etc. And Arabella's like, well, that's not why I created it.
So I think it's really interesting, like how good she still is and where her moral compass stands with everything after everything she's been through. Like it's very, I mean, I think that it's just kind of she doesn't seem super jaded yet at this point. Like she's a strong and she has a backbone, but she still is like, no, I don't want to I don't need to take this life force from a mouse. Like, she doesn't like that that's the way that it has to be done to learn her magic. Like, she always is kind
Yeah.
of looking for the less confrontational way to do
Yeah.
things.
Yep.
Like I
And I
said,
do think she's
oh, I just was gonna say, she does have, like, she's strong and she has a back, like, she's not
Oh,
a
yeah.
pushover, but
Right.
yeah.
I mean, she had the ingredients to become an evil sociopath for sure. Her dad
100
treated her not nice, so
locked her up and all kinds
that'll
of stuff.
do it,
Yep.
But anyway, Casimir's like, "Well, I'm just trying to tell you, you have options, okay? You can make the bird bend to your will." I guess. Arabella gets distracted and the bird dissolves, and then this tires her out again. So Casimir catches her and it's, catches her in his
Swoony.
arms. But now it's time for her to take a break. So Casimir's reflecting on how he's almost told her so many times, about the runes and her father's betrayal, the heirlooms requirement, everything he actually needs, but he hasn't. I'm like, okay, it's not the thought that counts. Like, why don't you tell her? This is another thing too. I'm like, the longer you wait, obviously, the harder it is. Because if you just told her from the very beginning when they barely had a relationship, it's almost like still would have been very transactional. She might have even been like, listen, turns out this heirloom actually needs this. What can we do to make this happen? Right? She might have just been like, sure, just get it over with. Let's just do it. Or like, who knows? But like, now you're betraying her and keeping secrets when you promised that you would be honest. So.
Right. And the longer, like you said, the longer it gets worse, the longer you wait. 100%.
Yep.
Yeah.
What a dummy.
Yep.
Classic. So then Casimir is like, hey, let's work on defense. So he shoots a bolt of shadow magic at her. She creates this barrier shield that absorbs it. I'm imagining like the Incredibles, little Violet's force field. And he's like, you're still thinking like a healer. Don't just block it. You need to redirect it and send it back to me. And even during all of this, they're having this like tension, eye lock moments. But she's able to grab some of his shadow essence, I guess, and hold it and control it a little bit. But she goes too far and things explode.
Imagine that.
Always. And then it goes, this is kind of weird, but it goes into her skin. So he tries to step in. They have this connection of their magic. It's very personal. They end up in this embrace. He's sort of protecting her from the shocks of this training exercise. I don't really know what's going on.
But. I know, because I was like, is he like trying to reabsorb his magic? Is he trying to channel it to go somewhere else? Like, I didn't really, this was a little...
Right.
The magic, because I was even thinking this too, but like, are there only certain people that have magic? Like, is it just these nobles that have magic? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's just...
I think so. I don't think everybody has it. Yeah.
It doesn't seem like even Marana has it. And like, obviously Arabella's...
Right.
I just don't really fully...
I don't either.
The magic system is a little... I have questions.
Which now that we're talking about it, I'm like, yeah. But usually when I'm just reading romances, I'm like, la, 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 because I don't evaluate it at all.
Right.
So now I'm like, yeah, the magic system.
Well, it's like, as long as it works, I don't care. You can have as many
I believe,
loopholes and whatever you want in there. Yeah.
This is what we call in the business a soft magic system. It's never explained how it works.
Right. 100%.
It just works.
It just does.
Okay.
Yep.
Casimir says he expected she would repel the magic, not absorb and integrate it. And it was just a surprising turn of events. And then they start making out. Yay!
Oh my God.
Oh, finally. It is hot and heavy. Yeah, I know. I was like,
finally. Oh my gosh.
Yes. The way I led up to the makeout, not tension filled. The way it happens in the book, tension filled.
Just so much eye contact.
It is satisfying. Probably not as satisfying to hear me talk about it. But yes. So Casimir is struggling. He's having this like little voice inside of his head's going, telling him to tell her the truth. And he's like, the truth can wait. I'm very busy right now. But he does stop though. And he's like, wait, you don't know what you're agreeing to. And Arabella is like, let's just live in the moment. And Casimir, he's like, there's things you don't know about me before we do this. And then Sims bursts in and he's saying there's been an incident. Their defenses were breached and immediate action is required. So Arabella is like trying to compose herself and straighten her clothes and stuff. And she's a little embarrassed. And Casimir is like, she's like, oh, I understand. You got carried away. I was like, you got carried? Not like we both got carried away or whatever. I think she's just acting so like hurt and like upset about it.
Yes. She wants the attention and she wants that to keep happening, but she doesn't really know how to.
Yeah.
She's like afraid to admit that she wants it too.
Right. And it's like she feels, like, rejected and stuff, but he's trying to explain. He's, "That's not what I was trying to say." And she's like, "Just go deal with your breach, you asshole." And so she storms out. Kazimir is like, "She deserves the truth. I'm gonna tell her soon. But first, I gotta go murder some bitches."
And, like, he also like, this is funny too because he is he's not self-aware of how upset she is.
Yeah.
Like, in any point up until this, when she's getting upset
Right.
about something, it's just right over
Yeah.
his head. So he is not picking up on the fact that she is
Yeah.
very embarrassed about being in kind of like a ruffled state when his advisor comes to
Yeah.
let him know about this. And he's just like, "Okay, bye, see you later." Like
Mhm.
I've got more important
Right,
things to
right.
do. I've got people to kill, things to do. Like, sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe deal with you
It's an
later.
emergency. And, yeah, and then obviously he's feeling guilt.
Mhm.
Yeah, and obviously feeling guilty that he's, like, keeping all these secrets and being like, "Listen, if we do this, if it goes too far, this is gonna activate the airline." I don't know, whatever. He's not revealing a bunch of stuff.
Mhm.
So anyway, Arabella gets back to her chamber. She's fuming. She's like, "What was I thinking? I wasn't thinking. That's the problem." She's like, and she's feeling horny. She doesn't have an outlet right now, and she's pissed at Casimir for making her feel this way. She was like mocking him, and she's like, "Oh yeah, there's things you don't know, Arabella." But she knocks over some roses that bite her while she's cleaning up, and the pain like grounds her a little bit. And the fact that she needed pain to be like, okay, yes, I am. I'm like, wow, she is fucked up.
Yeah.
Because and then a servant girl shows up to bring her refreshments, and Arabella's mad about this too, thinking Casimir's meddling and like one step ahead. How dare he bring me refreshments? More with the weaponized competence.
It's like she keeps getting mad, like, when because if he did really send it, then he is maybe actually recognizing that, like, leaving her in that instance was not good, so he is, like,
Yeah,
maybe trying to kinda make up for it, but it's still just
right.
funny, right? Like, she's like,
And
"Oh
she's
my
pissed.
god, yes, you jerk."
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But the good news, now she has wine, so she starts drinking that, and she's like, "Don't think about him." And then she takes a leaf out of Casimir's book, though, and starts having a temper tantrum, throws her wine glass in the fireplace. She feels better. And then she goes and takes a super hot bath. Then Nyx shows up and comes into the room. She's able to like change her substance or something and squeeze through a hole and gets on the bed, immediately starts shredding the pillows, which is just really funny.
I know, I'm like,
Just
the dragon
destroying stuff.
I'm like, did the dragon just, like, feel her same energy and like, "Yeah, I'm gonna have a temper
Yeah.
tantrum too, and I'm gonna
I
destroy all
just
these pillows."
imagining her looking so happy and, like, ripping them apart. Just being like, "Yay! This
Cat
is
just,
so
like,
fun."
shredding
Yeah.
something to pieces. That's exactly what it was, yeah.
Yeah. So Arabella's spiraling a little bit. She's feeling feelings, and she feels guilty, she's annoyed, and then she and Nyx, fall asleep. Also, here we go, the sheets smell like Casimir, winter storms and charred wood.
Mm.
Oh my god. All
Yeah.
right. So then we jump to Casimir in the fields. He and Thorin have caught a spy. So we're really seeing a dark side of Casimir for the first time. I was like, "Oh, he's actually a little scary in this chapter."
Mm.
I
Yeah.
mean, I know he did just drop someone onto a lightning bridge and play golf with people's eyeballs, but those felt funny. This is scarier.
Yeah, this is where we're getting a glimpse of him being a true villain, not just bragging
Yeah.
about being one, and probably how he got his
Mhm.
reputation is, like, some of his actions that are coming up.
Mhm.
So, yeah, he was
Yes.
scary in this one. Yeah.
Yeah. So he activates his truth rune or whatever we want to call it and wants to know who sent the spy. The spy says King Armar wants a map of the Citadel's defenses. Again, okay.
I thought that's what the last
Especially
spy
the
was
lightning
looking for.
bridges. Yeah, I guess they have multiple. Especially the lightning bridges so he can identify weaknesses. How could you see the lightning bridges if you're so high up? Whatever. The king has plans to retrieve Arabella. That's like, yeah, again, they're
I
up in the
know.
air. What could these people on the ground possibly be gathering?
So this part, I really started thinking, like, outside of the fact that maybe the king had already paid her father money and promised him a spot on a seat in his court or whatever, I
Yeah.
think that they know something more about her magic, the king and her father, that they aren't letting on. Like, maybe her father
Mm,
even found out some
yeah.
additional information. Like, there has to be another motive for this. Like, it
Mm-hmm.
can't be just the money thing, because if this would have happened, like, wouldn't the king have just asked for the money back and been like, "No, you don't get the seat"? Like, why are they still so determined to get her? That's kinda what I was
Right. Right.
at this point.
I'm sure there's some part of it too that's like he stole what was supposed to be mine.
Sure. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's probably that. But yeah,
Yeah.
we don't understand why at all.
Yeah.
Kazimir is like, first of all, she's my wife with a capital W. Okay. Second of all, time for a real warning. So he makes this spy open his mouth and puts shadow magic in him. I don't know, like, and it says, "You'll return to King Armar with my message. 3 days after you deliver it, you'll forget everything about this citadel, me, this encounter, your mission. But you'll wake screaming at night, convinced shadows devour you from the inside. That terror will plague you until the day you die." Damn.
I felt like the emoji with the big eyeballs, just like,
yeah.
I
was like, this is intense. Yep.
Yeah, that was the first like really villainous thing.
Yeah, he's pissed. He's like, yeah, Mr. Nice Guy is gone. Then he releases the spy, and he and Thorn follow with enough men to make a statement, but not spark an all-out war. So Kazimir intends to send a message in blood. Kazimir and co. are following the spy through Arvorin territory, whatever. Places don't matter, where the king's guards are waiting on the border. They ambush the guards, and Kazimir makes a beeline for the captains. The captain's like, "Release Arabella. Maybe the king will show you mercy." Kazmir's like, "I'm good, thanks." And I think the king will be too when he gets my message. So then Kazimir carves his sigil into the captain's forehead and then slits his throat. I was like, wow, yeah, okay, he's cruel. When I first read that too, I was like, and then you killed him? And then I realized, oh, right, you just did that to make him be in pain before.
Yes. Which is like,
because I was like, well, why'd you kill him after you carved that into his forehead?
Yeah, to really inflict as much pain as possible before that.
Just to make it painful. So I'm not a good villain. Then he cuts his head off and puts it in a box. What's in the box?
I can't believe. So I literally underlined that, and I did 7. Like I just
I don't think I could ever see a head in a box and not say that. Well, or read about a head in a box. But oh, poor Brad Pitt. What's in the box?
What's in the box? What's in the box? That's not funny. But I mean,
God, I can't watch 7 anymore. I don't even know how I ever watched it as many times as I did back in college or whatever.
Oh,
I digress.
No, once was more than plenty.
Oh,
for
really?
Me to
I watched it. Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
more. Oof. Yeah. Okay, so Kazimir gives the box to the cursed spy from earlier and tells him to deliver it to the king. So that's his message that the spy's delivering. Thorn then tells Kazimir that they found a chest of coins also. So it does seem like Marana was right about there being a secret outpost there, like on the border or whatever. And that's where they're paying the bandits to attack the villages and stuff. So the sun's rising now, and Kazimir feels guilty for leaving Arabella alone all night. And plus, now he has to prepare for war. Yay!
Yay! I think we're going to stop there for now. We are more than halfway through the book. I think we'll finish on our next episode, the rest of the book.
We better.
We will. We will. Everything is really starting to happen, and I'm very excited to get to this next part of the book. So for now, we will be back soon. Thank you so much for listening to Totally Booked Right Now. And part 3 is coming up of Dark Lord's Guide to Dating. Thank you.
Okay. Love you.
Love
Bye.
you. Bye.